Hey, my creative friends. My name is Shannon from Shannon Studio. I know a little late today again, another little late day. Yep, by a little bit. But we're here. And we're here to talk about a creative life, creative lifestyle, and how we can transition into having a consistent lifestyle of creativity. Hey, Joan. Let's see. So today, I have one son who is totally into Taylor Swift. And apparently, last year Taylor Swift put out an album. And when she does this, it had been a long time, I guess, that she'd put out one when she put it out last year. And then usually she drops them at midnight, and my son will always, let us know. And we, there's like this little countdown sort of thing, and we have watched them together and that sort of thing. And so when I heard she had an album out this morning, or whichever, I don't know exactly what time frame it is for in the US, but I was like, wow, I didn't hear this. In fact, I didn't hear anything from Wade. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I listened to a few of her songs. And what was interesting to me was that, so she put out one last year and then this year, which is kind of quick for an artist. The second thing was that it was produced during isolation, during the COVID isolation. Because if it was dropped last year, and that's what they said, that it was produced, and there was at least one official video with it. Hey, Wade, you're not going to believe, Wade, I'm talking about Taylor. So you can correct me if I, misquote or say anything wrong, Mr. Taylor Swift expert. So she did this album during this isolation, which I found totally interesting. I know, Wade, I was just telling everyone how you usually let us know when's coming, when it drops at midnight, that we've been together and, had little things together when it drops, and that I had heard nothing from you about this album. So I just found the whole thing, and the one video about Cardigan is it's just delightful. And you just look at it and you go, all this during coronavirus, all this during a time when not everybody's reacting this way, a time where it's changed our normal, and it was just, that in itself is interesting. So then, folklore. One of the definitions I read was an expressive, and that's the name of the album, an expressive body of culture shared by a particular people. And I thought that was an interesting title. And in one of the songs, it said something about, this will be passed down, what you talk about will be passed down. And I thought that's apropos for this time in our history, because people will be talking about this time. I got artwork. I think you can see it a little bit up there, that artwork. Yep, right up there. Yep. That artwork I got specifically because she created it, Jamie Beck created it during isolation. She did a photograph each day, and then on the photograph itself, the poster itself, it has isolation creation day, whichever day. And so it's like, I got it because it was this memory for me, not my personal memory, like of her, but this memory of this time. Hey, Desiree. So it's a memory of this time, and how we all are marking it our personal ways, how COVID has affected us, and it's going to be handed down. So the name folklore that she chose for the album is in the one definition I pulled out was expressive body of culture shared by a particular people. So then when I listened to the songs, it was so interesting because the first song I listened to, Hey Beautiful to You, Desiree, the first song I listened to sounded like Now. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but the sound sounded like the feelings of the culture, sounded like what was happening to this particular worldwide experience. And last year I remember seeing her first video, and I don't even know this song, but it was very candy colored, and it was loud and bright and tons of people, and this anthem type of video. And just, you know, it was well done and everything, and it was, but I mean, it was just this big, huge sort of expression. This and the video from Cardigan was her by herself. It was in this darkened room. It was, you know, going from place to, you know, like climbing into a piano, coming out, climbing into something, going out. You know, it was just this. It's just really fascinating, and to put it in context with what everybody's experiencing right now. So it's made me think. And I didn't talk to you about it, Wade, which I'm sure we will at some point. But it made me think, how does one artist go and produce an album and launch an album while others languish? And I mean, I'm no psychologist on Taylor Swift. There's certain things, you know, I'm like not 100% in line. I don't know who I'm 100% in line with, so that goes without saying. But so I've been thinking about that today, how one will go and produce something this big, this much scale, this apropos for the time, while others are struggling to get through the day. And I'm not saying that it's that people who are having a hard time getting through the day, that they're bad or they have something wrong with them. I think a lot of those feelings are very normal for this time. So it made me research a little bit today, because that's what I do. And I came across the book. I got a new book, and so I've been reading it, Limitless by James Kwik. And he says there's lots of evidence to support the connection between mindset and accomplishment. Well, I think that would be apparent. That connection. So, you know, looking at what kind of mindset accomplishes during this coronavirus. So he talked to James Clear, I think in a podcast, who talked about Dr. Barbara Friedrichsen. And James says that he got research from this Barbara Friedrichsen, and says researchers have long known that negative emotions program your brain to do specific action. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it's normal. What the reaction's going on for people, it's normal. He noted, when the tiger crosses your path, for example, you run. Yeah, duh. The rest of the world doesn't matter. You are focused entirely on the tiger, the fear it creates, and how you can get away from it. So it puts you in survival mode. That is totally what is happening to a large swath of people, is that we get in survival mode. And then it goes on to talk about, it says, James Clear noted, when you are experiencing, okay, so, wait a minute. Oh, I went to the wrong, I'm like, where did that's not supposed to happen yet. So, what they did learn was positive mindset is the opposite result. So if you've got the fear and you've got the negative, it turns you into survival mode, the positive mindset turns it around into kind of an abundance, kind of an accomplishment sort of mindset result. So if they did this research with 5 groups of people, they showed them film clips. The first group, they showed film clips that elicited joy. The second one was eliciting contentment. The third, fear. Fourth, anger. And the fifth was a control group. And just kind of, I don't know what they showed them. But then afterwards, they asked everybody to imagine the situation and then to say how they would react. And they were supposed to say how they react would react by saying, I would like to, and then answer. And I think there were like 20 questions. So I would like to. So the fear and the anger group had the fewest responses. And then the joy and contentment had the most responses, by far the most responses. And it just goes to that idea of the fear and the anger constrict possibility. It constricts your thinking to just stay in survival mode, even after the fact, even when when you're trying to figure out other things, you just can't. And I described it one time about a situation that Wade and I had. I will not talk about that situation now because I've talked about it before, but it's just funny to me to think back on it. So then we get to where children, they did another research, where children, and they talked about a positive mindset that extends beyond the positive emotion. Well, no, then now this is where I was supposed to put in that other quote. James Clear noted, when you are experiencing positive emotions like joy, contentment, and love, you will see more possibilities in your life. You will see, not a question, maybe you'll see more. You will see more possibilities in your life. I don't know what it does. It expands your mind. It makes you think of more. Hey, Trisha, almost worried there. I was late yesterday. You're kind of late today, so I'm like, maybe Trisha's not coming today. I know you were worried about me not showing up yesterday, with good reason. Okay, so positive mindset extends well beyond the experience of positive emotion. So their example was like, if a child is out playing with his friends, and he's out playing, and so he's got, the positive emotions. Oh, Trisha says she missed the alert. Yeah, I should probably put alert on my phone too, because yesterday and today, I was late today too, Trisha. So kids playing outside, that there's certain things that they experience besides the moment of positive emotion, it extends. So like when the kids are playing outside and they're running on the branches, jumping, running, pulling on branches, doing the whole thing. It's a physical skill they're learning. They're learning that. Besides the positive emotion, it runs into physical skills. And it runs into social skills with playing with the kids and doing the team thing. And then they explore and examine and experiment with, things when they're playing and like invent things. And so they're learning creative skills. So it's almost like it builds on itself. So positive emotions. What comes out of positive emotions? They listed 6 things. Positive emotions broadens people's attention and thinking, just like we showed on those other things. So it broadens our thinking. This is one I really like. It undoes lingering negative emotional arousal. So those feelings that are aroused that are negative, positive emotions, experiencing positive emotions, putting yourself in a situation to have positive emotions, undoes lingering negative emotional arousal. I really like that one. Positive emotions fuel psychological resilience. And I think, I'll say that. Then fourth, positive emotions build consequential personal resources. So you get rid of a little bit of the lingering negativity, but then you start to build consequential, like what happens as a consequence, some of those personal resources. So you start to build as a person. 5, positive emotions trigger upward spirals toward greater well-being in the future. So you drop a little bit of the negative, you start to build a little bit more, and then it creates this upward spiral toward greater well-being in the future. So you've got past, present, and future happening because of positive emotions. And people say, well, you can't always be happy all the time. I know that. I've had a few experiences in my life that I realize that. But you can look back on the video, I talked about the happiness set point, we get ourselves back to happiness. We make that our set point. So we experience all the feelings, but our set point is to work ourselves back to the positive emotion of happiness. So yes, it's not always happy. And the coronavirus has not created a across the board happy experience and situation and positive emotions for people. It just hasn't. But we should work back to the positive emotions. So then the last one is positive emotions are the seed of human flourishing. Yeah, I love all those. And all are the result of positive emotions, of choosing to look at the positive, of choosing to move toward positive, of getting out of survival mode, of doing all those things. And that's what it kind of made me think of, why would Taylor Swift put out an album right now? And how does one artist do this when so many others are not? And just looking on her past experiences, she's had to have a lot of negative things. And from what I can tell, I mean, obviously I don't know her, but from what I can tell, she's a more positive person and looks on the bright side and has tried to always get back to that set point of positive emotions. And if these are, this is the research, and that fits along with what she's done. And so I just thought, what does that have to do with Creative Heartbeats Club? Well, I think that we are going to create an opportunity for you and I to experience positive emotions, for us to be creative and lean into creative experiences that will bring about some positive in our lives. And obviously I have to work a little bit, but it's the intent, I think, will come out. And creativity, we've talked about 1 million times in the 358 days, I think it is, 9 days, that it does amazing things for your life and your well-being. So that is the thoughts tonight. Those are the thoughts tonight. And yeah, we can thank little Miss Taylor Swift for coming out with that album. And listen to a few of the songs, and then you'll know kind of exactly what I mean that it sounds like now. It sounds like this. It sounds like it was made in isolation. It's folklore. It's an expressive body of culture shared by a particular people. It's now. So that's my thought for tonight, is that Creative Heartbeats Club will bring about positive emotions. And let's see. We do all have a creative heartbeat, so let's listen for it. I will be back tomorrow. Bye.